than you would think his parents would be. They're senior citizens, and their need constant care and help. And anyway, this comedian, Jesus, when he's not on the road being a comedian, he's his parents' full-time caregiver. So this is a documentary about the comedian Jesus taking care of his parents, and it's really funny, and it's got lots of great people in it, from Bobby Lee to James Corrigan. It's not only diverse because they come from a Mexican-American background, but also that it's about older generation, older people, and it's actually one of the AARP's first projects that they're doing through something that's called the AARP Studios. So we're super excited about that. That's Friday night. It's a premiere. Jesus will be there. He's going to be doing a little stand-up talk-back set at the end of the screening on Friday night. So it's a hilarious film with tons of recognizable famous faces, and it's also just really endearing and heartwarming watching this really funny comedian take care of his elderly parents.
How long is the film?
I think it's an hour and a half, just standard length, It's maybe a little shorter than that, but yeah, it's a great documentary.
Did he submit the film to the film festival, or did you ask him to collaborate with the film festival?
It was submitted through the AARP's studios festival outreach work through their team.
Is this the first time you collaborated with the AARP?
Yeah. The whole thing is, I think it's someone that works in the industry and teaches at Columbia and does the film festivals and stuff. The industry is changing. The film industry is changing so quickly and rapidly. And this is a great example of a company, AARP, who you would not think would be putting out movies and putting out content like that, has seen that, they have this audience. It's an underrepresented audience too, which, the older generation of people aren't making content for that generation. So, to answer your question, no, we've never collaborated with AARP because this is really new. This is one of their first projects that they've ever put out. And so we're extremely excited to be bringing that to Chicago, but also that we're excited because this is an example of what we do with the film festival, is bring, unique projects, have an emphasis on how things are changing. And this is a standard documentary. It's, around an hour and a half, but it's coming from a studio that's not your traditional studio. They're not independent, obviously, because they're funded through AARP, but it's just a testament to the way things are changing and how people are making content in so many different ways these days.
Do you know if AARP is using this film to engage more members, increase membership, or just to engage the members and speak to them?
I think both. I think I don't know what their original or what their intention is with it once it's done some film festivals, but I think it's a way for them to be able to show interesting and engaging content to their massive membership, and that is an underserved market, and they know that. They're obviously at the forefront of what's going on in that age range. So it's really great that they've taken a big leap to move into making that kind of content for that audience, and I think it'll engage and increase membership both.
Did you say that this is their first project for producing a film?
It's one of their first. I can't say for sure that it's their first, but I believe it might be their first film. They might have done some other short form video content through AARP Studios, but they're, I think it's one of their first features.
Are you collaborating with other organizations with their films similar to AARP?
I don't think we really have any that are similar to that. It's unique, and that's what we've been doing at Chicago Comedy Film Festival for a long time, and through our other festivals now. But beginning with the Comedy Film Festival 8 years ago, we were always at the cutting edge of trying to find new opportunities, whether that was in the digital space or the new content streaming spaces and everything like that. And it was, it's been great to do that. And we don't have anything similar to AARP this year, but mostly just independent projects through your normal, like, smaller production teams.
What other projects are your collaborators, your filmmakers involved in as they present the films that you have this year at the Comedy Film Festival?
We have a wide variety of projects. Some of the better ones we have, our closing night film is Olympia, which played at Chicago International Film Festival, and we've brought that in for an encore performance. That's Sunday night. We have lots of great films with recognizable faces. George Wendt and Jane Lynch, who's back with a film with us this year. Just a wide variety of comedy, short sketches, web series, short films, feature films, and even, like I said, the Care to Laugh documentary. So just a wide variety of independent projects.
Do you have any new filmmakers that never had screenings before?
Yeah, we do. I don't have the list of them in front of me, but we always have first-time filmmakers. One of our major partners here in Chicago is Harold Ramis Film School at Second City, and some of their students have really good projects that made it into the film festival. And so those are first-time filmmakers, and we have some other first-time filmmakers from around the world. And we're excited. This year, these might not be first-time filmmakers for sure, but we have projects from Germany and a project from France. We always have Australia and Canada and United Kingdom, of course, but not sure if that's it for the international this year. I don't have the list in front of me of international films. We have close to 50 some projects, so I kind of don't have them all memorized just yet.
Have any Latino filmmakers submitted?
Yeah, I mean, this project that Jesus is involved in is definitely,
absolutely.
Yeah. Again, I don't have the list in front of me of who's been accepted. I'm sure that there is. I don't think any of them actually come from Mexico. They're more probably Hispanic American films, but yeah, we get a wide variety. We're always trying to hear, those diverse voices, those voices that are outside the mainstream of what we normally would see in America. So,
would you consider having film in a foreign language? That was what I was thinking.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we have films that are from foreign languages that are just that have.
They're dubbed?
Not dubbed.
Subtitled?
Subtitled, yes. Yeah, sorry. I was blanking on the word. Yeah, we always have films every year that are from foreign countries and foreign languages.
Any off the top of your head this year that's a foreign film that's subtitled?
I can't remember.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm sure we do. We always have. It's interesting and also funny in a unique sort of way that when we started this film festival, you learn about other countries' comedic timing and comedic approaches that you might not have known when you first started out, and you watch projects from we get, like I said, we get a lot from France, and their comedy style is different. We tend to get a lot from like Israel, and their comedic style is really different. And then you get some Japan we get a lot of, and it's great to be able to watch, especially like I just specifically think of like the French films, and they have such a rich comedy tradition, and to be able to learn so much about how that works, and now to have films that are in the festival that are from France, and to really understand the comedy behind all that and the approach is just, that's been a great learning process for me personally.
It must be a great experience hearing the film and hearing the tone and the inflection as in the foreign language, and feeling how that approach differs from the U.S.
Yeah, of course. I think that's the thing that I when we first started the film festival, we were watching these films from other countries. It was really hard to make an analysis of if it was funny or not if you don't know the, first of all,
the culture.
Yeah, you don't know the culture. You don't know the timing of everything, the way that they present comedies. And I think for us, also, you're not hearing it in the native, you don't understand the native language, so you're just reading it, which is really different. So yeah, but I think that once you kind of get used to that,
that's what inspired you to do the Independent Film Festival, right? The Chicago Independent Film Festival?
Yeah, partially. I think that was just to continue to bring really good international screening opportunities to Chicago. There's a couple of the bigger festivals that do some independent film, but there isn't really a international independent film festival in Chicago. So that was part of it. And I think it's always it's always interesting too with these international films that are subtitled and that are in the original language. We had a pilot in the Independent Film Festival last year that was in Italian, and it was about cars though. So it was a documentary about cars, and it was a pilot.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I was
you
with
did.
Bill Morton.
Yeah. You were there. That's right. And it's so interesting to see how people really get into, those kind of projects and come away with it feeling, like you talk to them about the film and they rarely ever mention anything about it being subtitled or anything about it being in a different language. You get immersed in it and understand it, and it just becomes kind of like any other movie, and I think that's great.
You had the filmmakers at the Cars screening.
Yeah.
What filmmakers do you have for the Comedy Film Festival this year?
Like I said, Jesus, he's not the filmmaker, but he's a star. He's coming in. There's someone, one of the producers of that is definitely coming in from Los Angeles of Care to Laugh. And other than that, again, I don't have a list. There's over 100 so far, and we're still 2 weeks away. There's already 125 confirmed filmmakers that will be there. So it's a huge list of filmmakers, and that's another thing that a big part of what we do with our festivals in the Chicago Comedy Film Festival, bringing in filmmakers from around the world. But specifically we get most of our people coming in from Los Angeles, and to bring them into Chicago and not only show them how great Chicago is, how creative our community is.
Were there any filmmakers from abroad, outside Chicago, that after coming to screen with the Chicago Comedy Film Festival that actually came to Chicago to film?
Ooh, I don't think so that I know of. I know that we've had people internationally in London, and again, this being national in Los Angeles, that have collaborated with each other because they've met at Chicago Comedy Film Festival, and they've worked together, or they've helped produce each other's projects and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think anyone's actually come back to Chicago to shoot.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah. So it's always great to be able to bring those people and to show Chicago, but also show Chicagoans what's happening in the industry elsewhere, and help them connect with people in Los Angeles and Austin and New York and London. And that's a big part of our mission, is to connect Chicago filmmakers with beyond the Chicago industry, and to help them understand that you can do a lot of great things in Chicago working with people outside Chicago too.
You have other events where filmmakers could connect with other filmmakers besides the Chicago Comedy Film Festival, don't you?
Yeah. Well, we specifically at the Comedy Film Festival this year, like we've done almost every year. One of our most popular events has been like our filmmaker and Chicago filmmaker meetup, which we've had every year. This year we're having it on Saturday at 3:00 at Columbia. And it's called Film Local. It's a film, we're calling it Film Local Hook Up and Hangout. So you can hook up with people that you might want to work with other projects on, or you can just come and hang out and get to meet new people. But yeah, that's at 3 o'clock at Columbia on Saturday, the 10th. And then I also run the International Screenwriters Association of Chicago chapter.
Are community members and students allowed to network with these filmmakers and ask questions?
They're more than welcome to come and ask questions. Yes, we'd love to have them there. It's a free event, open to the public. It's open to it's open to students as well as community members. Anyone that's interested, actors, producers, anyone that wants to get involved in or is already involved in the filmmaking community and TV community and wants to take part. Like I said, that we started doing getting away more from like the panels, and we still do panels, and we do actually have a panel this year too about the same topic, which is like filming local, but also engaging like the community of filmmakers across the world. But once we started doing these networking events, they're so popular. Last year we did it at the new 400, and we had over like 150 people involved in just that little hour-long thing, and that'll be the same this year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, people are already registering. We already have a large number of registers for still 2 weeks out, so it's a great event.
If people want to register, where could they go?
They can just get to it through our website. Just go to chicagocomedyfilmfestival.com and click on the ticketing link, and all the tickets for the screenings are up there, and then you can just find the screening for the film local, hook up and hang out, and you can just register there for free. And I'd also like to say that for listeners and students and whoever, that if you go to the website and go to the ticket site, you can use the code FILMLOCAL for 50% off tickets. And you just put the code in at the end, Film Local, at the ticket site, and you get 50% off.
Tickets to the screenings, right?
Screenings, or even if you wanted to buy a full pass for the whole weekend so you can see everything and be involved in the party at Cards Against Humanities, all that stuff. Just, when you get to the end of the ticketing process, there's a place where it asks if you have a discount code, and you just put in Film Local, and there you go, 50% off.
Nice. You also teach at Columbia. What do you teach?
I teach in the TV department there, internet for mobile, internet media mobile, and I teach the web series development class, and I also teach the YouTube development class.
Have you encouraged your students to think about submitting to the Chicago Comedy Film Festival or the Chicago Independent?
Very much so, and I do believe that I have, for the first time, have a student that has a project in the student category of Chicago Comedy Film Festival. I think this is the first time. I've been teaching there for 4 years, so it makes sense that it's finally reaching that point. And I believe that we have a project from a young lady that...
What's the name of the film?
I don't remember.
That's okay. Well, at least, it's in the student film category.
Yeah, it's in the student. It's a short. So come check that out. We have, like I said, we have students. Harold Ramis Film School, Second City has student films, and then we have a variety of student films from around the world too. And
you have short biographical sketches of the filmmakers too. So if good.
Yeah, up on the website, you can check all that stuff out.
How many projects are you involved in that are in the Comedy Film Festival?
We don't really show our projects at the film festival.
But you do have a web series or something like that, right? That you're.
We're releasing that just online before before the festival comes out as sort of a promotional thing. But we're not. I'll definitely talk about that web series. But we don't show our projects. One of the reasons we started that Jessica started the film festival was because seeing projects of hers and mine go through film festival circuit and seeing how you apply to a lot of these film festivals, and it's the same people over and over, or the festival director and his friends or family showing all their projects, same people just doing the same thing over and over again. Part of our mission was we're super proud of our projects. We'd love to show them we have shown them at lots of film festivals, but not our own, because we didn't want to we didn't want to be fake about getting those accolades, and also didn't want to take away from other filmmakers. But yeah, we shot a web series that is called Indie Film is Alive, and it is going to be released online here starting late this week or early next week as a build-up for the film festival. It's a comedy web series about independent filmmaking, and shot, written and produced and shot by some of our alumni at the Comedy Film Festival, shot here locally with local actors. And
how many episodes?
Right now we have 4. We have 4 more written that we'll be shooting in the winter or spring to just to keep it going. And yeah, it's
so that kind of series. I thought all the episodes were shot already. So it's an ongoing project then.
Yeah. We shot 4 over the course of like 3 days, and then we're gonna shoot 3 or 4 more here in the winter or early spring.
How can listeners and the community access those episodes?
Sure, we'll be posting them everywhere online, and they'll be on our website. But most specifically, we have a really strong and popular YouTube presence, so you can just go to youtube.com/Chicago Comedy Film is the actual full URL there. And but it's our Chicago Comedy Film Festival YouTube channel is where it'll all be released on, and that's it's our channels really gets lots of viewers, and it's really popular, so we continue to put our content up there. And you can also see all the trailers there for this year's Chicago Comedy Film Festival, or most of the trailers are up at that YouTube as well, so you can watch them and buy tickets through that.
Do all the films have a trailer?
Most of them, not all of them. Some of the really short ones obviously doesn't really make sense for them to have trailers, and some of them but most of them do, or some sort of like teaser. Might not be what you'd call a trailer, but even some of the really short ones, just
what do you mean by short? How short is short?
The shortest one we have this year is 1 minute and 45 seconds.
Oh, and what category? So they had
that's just in the shorts. We have a short category. It's it's more like a sketch, but it's a really well done sketch, sort of a horror comedy, and so good for Halloween and really fun, but extremely funny. And I think I've talked about this too on the show before, but it doesn't matter if it's 1 minute and 30 seconds or an hour and 30 minutes. A good comedy a story can be told, and it can be hilarious in a very short amount of time. And I truly am drawn to those projects that are really short like that, and they do it well, and they make me laugh, and I think about it the day after or 3 days after, and I'm like, that's just a really well done and amazing project. And this one definitely fits in that category. I wish I could remember what the screening time was. I remember the name of it. I won't say it, but it's just another testament to great filmmaking and great.
Why can't you say the name?
Oh, I just didn't want to. It's called Spendia House is the name of it. But yeah, so I wish I knew what time it was screening. But it's part of one of the short film programs, and that's an international film. It's from Canada.
When filmmakers make these shorts, what is their intention? How do they plan to use it? In what venues besides a film festival?
I think, it just depends on the filmmaker. I think there's a few different ways. People might just be using it as a way to show what they're capable of, as sort of a calling card, a proof of concept. Others, I think, are trying to, maybe the idea itself is something they see that can be a feature, but they just start out with something much shorter to try to give themselves and possible investors and producers an idea of what the project might look like if they expanded it out and see if it's got legs, see if it works. And I know a couple of our projects, and again, so many projects over the years that the names always escape me of what's going on, but that have started off as shorts at our festival and have been made into features or they're working on making them into features. So part of the process of making a short film like that and then getting into a film festival is for them to not only see how the process of making it goes, but then to be able to show it to people and see what the reaction is and see what can be improved upon and what can be taken out. And we have, at least 3 projects I know of that have started as shorts at ours and have now either been made into features or are going to be, that are in production to be made into features. So that's another way that films that they do with these short films. I think there's, and a lot of them might just be used for like sketches too, like as a body of work.
You also have
different shorts.
You also have a category of pilots too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we have pilots. We have just a couple pilots this year. But yeah, we're lot more and more people now, because of the way TV industry has changed over the past 5 years, are shooting pilots, which are again just concepts that they can try to get out there. And
have any pilots that were filmed at the Chicago Comedy Film Festival actually taken up by a studio?
Not yet that I can think of. I mean, I know some of them are still the pilot category, and this sort of trend of making your own pilots to get picked up or to show people are still relatively new as far as popularity. So it still may happen in the next couple years, but not just yet.
Do studios have to come to the film festival in order to view these screenings, or are they able to access the material elsewhere, like through the website later?
If we have a particular relationship with a studio, they could do it through the website later. We actually, one of our sponsors is a Chicago distribution company, and sort of like not really a studio, but more a film distributor. Cowlamp Films, which is an independent distribution company, and they have access to all of our stuff beforehand, and they come to the festival as well to talk to filmmakers, and then they can watch stuff afterwards if they didn't see it. But other distributors and studios, we have distributors and studios that come to the festival all the time and take part in watching the screenings and talking to filmmakers and potentially picking stuff up. And Cowlamp is our major distributing partner right now. And they look at our films for Chicago Comedy and Chicago Independent. But we have other distributors and studios that have.
Have you had any films that reached utter acclaim after being screened at the Chicago Comedy Film Festival?
We definitely have. The biggest one we have is one that was called Do I Have to Take Care of Everything? And it was, we actually did its second U.S. screening. It premiered in New York, and then it did its second the rest of the U.S. premiere in Chicago.
What's the name of the film?
Do I Have to Take Care of Everything? And it actually went on to be nominated in the short film category for an Academy Award.
Oh,
that was by far our biggest. That was a few years back, and but we did that premiered in New York for the United States, and then it premiered in Chicago, and that was its first 2 North American screenings, and then. About 6 months later or so, it was nominated for Academy Awards.
Wow,
so
great.
That was one of the bigger ones. And we've just had lots of other ones lots of films that are on Netflix and Amazon and HBO and stuff that you can watch the films there.
So there is no more time for submissions now. Any submissions will have to wait till next year, right? You're not accepting any more submissions?
Actually, we are open for submissions now, because another thing that is happening for us. So we run the 2 film festivals, the Comedy Film Festival and the Independent Film Festival. We are going to take the Comedy Festival after we're done this fall, and we're going to move it to the spring. So we've been in the fall for 8 years, but we are now going to move the Comedy Film Festival to spring 2019 to partner alongside the Independent Film Festival, which has been in the spring. We want to be more early in the year, which for those that aren't aware, the film festival cycle starts in January with Sundance, which is the biggest film festival, obviously, or one of the biggest. And it starts there and kind of starts to move down. There are big film festivals in the fall and stuff, but for us as a smaller independent film festival, we want to be earlier in the cycle so we can get access to maybe a little bit better films. People sometimes, if by the time the fall has come, they've sort of went through the film festival circuit and they're ready to just get their film distributed, or they're done sort of screening their film. So we are open for submissions actually now for Chicago Comedy Film Festival. So, and for Chicago Independent Film Festival, yeah. Mm-hmm. So submit through, you can get on Film Freeway or Without a Box, the two main things, or you can just go to our website and you can find the submit buttons there. But yeah, we are obviously.
So filmmakers could submit independent films through the Chicago Comedy Film Festival, or do you have a separate website for that?
Yeah, that's a separate website, chicagoindependentfilmfestival.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the categories again for the students and for other filmmakers?
So we have feature. We have something called micro feature, which is like between a half hour and 50 minutes. Short films, short films, commercials, music videos, web series, pilots, proof of concepts, all that stuff is accepted. And maybe I'm even forgetting one. I just named a bunch. But
do you have a sample of every category for the visitor to understand what you're looking for, or are you very open to the different representations of a category?
Yeah, pretty open. I think most people that are submitting, I would say that they should know what the category means if they're submitting into it. And I think that's if they're trying to put something into something and they're not sure that it goes there. But yeah, there's definitely overlap. A music video could be in the short film category, or proof of concept could also be a short film. So yeah, we're really open. Obviously, with the Comedy Film Festival and the Independent Film Festival, both, we're just looking for really good projects, and to not belabor a point, but you know that stuff when you see it. You know what a good project is. It doesn't matter if it's extremely low budget shot on an iPhone by a student, or if it's a big studio feature.
Do you have anything from anything low budget that's really good?
Oh yeah, all of our stuff is. I mean, most of our projects, I would say, are probably close to low budget.
By low
films.
Budget, what do you mean? Like how low?
I mean, for us, the definition of low budget. I mean that a true low budget film is supposed to be like under $1 million. That's what like the Hollywood standard is for under low budget. But I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. We don't get like a budget breakdown of what the films are, so I wouldn't really be able to know for sure, just guessing and looking at, who's involved and how it was shot and where it was shot. I'm sure we have lots of projects that are shot for $5,000, really good features.
Have you screened anything that was captured on an iPhone, a video? Because I have a friend who told me that in his class, his professor asked the students to go out and make a film with their phone.
Yeah, I don't know that I think in the Independent Film Festival, I'm sure that we have. I don't know about in the Comedy Film Festival for sure. Again, I don't always have the exact screening specifications. I can't remember anything in the Comedy Film Festival, but yeah, iPhones are, if everything's lit and the sound is good, they're just as capable as a regular camera.
Do you have any advice for students who want to get a solid footing into the industry, networking, and what kind of advice do you have for them?
I think the main advice is just to keep learning and keep working at it. And I think I say this sometimes more and more. We live in a world where information is completely accessible to us. You can read about and learn about anything you want to from 100 different sources. And I think that can be a little overwhelming, but I think also with all those sources, sometimes you have to weed out the bad and find the good sources. And I also think that working on projects and learning, hands-on is the best way to do it. And you'll learn a lot about what you want to do, what works, what doesn't work, and how you can be successful by just getting out and doing it.
How important is a mentor versus feeling what works and what doesn't work on the student's own?
I think can go both ways. I think it depends just kind of on your learning style and the kind of person you are. Some people like mentors. Some people like education. I think there's these two competing thoughts in like the film industry of like, should you go to film school or should you just go out and do it yourself? And I think that film school will always be an option and a good option for people that like to be taught and like to learn and like to get really specific about things before they go out and do it themselves. And then there's always going to be the kind of person that wants to just learn on their own and, trial by fire, so to speak. And both ways, it just depends on your personality. I don't think one way is better than the other. I kind of am lucky that I learned both ways. I did it myself, but I also had the education behind it. So
what came first? Did you learn by yourself at first before you went to school, or did you go to school first?
I learned first, but then went to school shortly after that because I realized that I wanted to learn more and I wanted to have the network, and I wanted to, I think I also knew that I eventually wanted to teach. So I wanted to make sure that I had the qualifications to be a teacher. So
what made you try to implement a film festival instead of working on your projects and making films on your own?
Well, mostly the film festival came from Jessica Hardy, who founded the Chicago Comedy Film Festival in 2010. I think it was one of those things where I know that she thought that after putting her comedy projects out through the film festival, there wasn't a lot of opportunity. There wasn't a lot of opportunity for women filmmakers on top of that. So she saw a very untapped market for Chicago comedy film in Chicago, because Chicago's, the comedy capital. And so she started that because of that. And I think as running your own small business, you can do that and you can do creative projects, and she's continued to do that, and I continue to do that, helping run that festival and running Chicago Independent. That I don't know, inspires me more to make my own projects sometimes after working really hard on the film festival, seeing really good films, seeing what other people have done with their project inspires me to do my turn the next,
How high was it to start the film festival in the beginning? Did Jessica have many submissions? How long did it take before you reached this level to have over 100 filmmakers submitting their material?
Yeah, I mean we have like over 100 filmmakers that are coming to the festival. We have more submissions than that, but I think we were lucky. She was lucky with the Comedy Film Festival because she was smart and she was right that there was a market for that. And I think that the first year it went really well, and that kept us going into the year 2 or year 3 when things kind of plateau a little bit.
Mm-hmm. So it was mostly concentrated on women filmmakers in the beginning?
No, it wasn't totally concentrated on women filmmakers. It was comedy, but just, she had a very keen sense of making sure to include women filmmakers as a woman filmmaker herself. So I think that, we had great female projects from the start of, from year one, and great of one of our great success stories she's from year one. Her name's Maggie Rowe. She now has written for Arrested Development and written for a show called Flaked, which was on Amazon Prime original. And she's now got a series that's being developed and will be starting to shoot soon through Showtime. So, then she was a female filmmaker from year one, and now she's done all that, and now she's got her own show that's going to be in
That's
production
wonderful.
with Showtime.
Yeah.
So,
Congratulations to her.
yes, and she's actually acting in a film this year that's called Me Too Gumshoe, which is a short film that's part of our short film block. So she's continues to be involved.
Is that film in the Comedy Film Festival, Chicago Comedy Film
Yes.
Festival?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is there any untapped niche now? You're being in the film festival business for many years now. Is there any untapped niche that we should focus on?
As far as film festivals,
As far as categories, as with Jessica, she found that women filmmakers weren't being paid enough attention to.
yeah.
Are there any categories now or groups of individuals who you think might benefit from having more opportunity in getting their films out?
I mean, I still feel like there's a lack of diversity from women filmmakers and from people of color or international markets that could be represented better at all film festivals and in the film industry as a whole. I think the film festival, there's so many different film festivals out there now that I don't know what would be like an untapped market, so to speak. But I think, there's always, it only takes the person who sees it and is right about that. And that's what Jessica was able to do, being a female filmmaker, being involved in the comedy world of Chicago. I think maybe, my perspective is way different. So the person who might see and be part of that community, part of that market, might be able to see that. But yeah, I don't know
that's right.
too much off the top of my head, but I think there's always opportunity for
Yes,
more diversity and more inclusion.
Right, and of course the Chicago Comedy Film Festival and the Chicago Independent Film Festival are giving many opportunities to women and to other filmmakers from here and from around the world.
Yeah, that's one of our main goals, and we want to do that opportunity, and we want the opportunity for people in Chicago to be able to interact with those films and interact with those filmmakers, hopefully, if they can make it to the film festival, which many of them do, but that's kind of hard for international filmmakers sometimes, but they do make it. But yeah, just to bring people together is another big part of our mission.
Is that networking event the highlight of the festival then? Or
I mean, the films are definitely the highlight.
Of course.
I would never say that the films weren't the
Yeah.
highlight, but I think that without question, that networking event has become so popular and so.
Again, when is that networking event for listeners who didn't catch it earlier?
Sure, it's at Saturday, the 10th, November 10th, 3 o'clock, 1104 South Wabash, Columbia College, which is where all of our events are for the Columbia portion. And it's on the website. You can check it out there and register for free. Also, there's free adult beverages for those who would like to partake in that. We have two beer sponsors, Lagunitas and Revolution Brewing Company this year, so definitely can enjoy that, and helps the networking process to have a drink or two.
What time does it begin? I know that it's on November 9th and 10th.
On Friday we start at 5 and we have a couple screenings on Friday. Saturday we start pretty early with some short films at 11:30, and then we go until around 5, and then same on Sunday. We start at like 11:30 and go to like 5, and then we have our after party at Cards Against Humanity with some screenings, a few short screenings.
Okay. So at the after party, there is some material too that hasn't been screened earlier.
Correct. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How much does that after party cost?
So that's all you just have to have a full weekend pass to get it. So, but if you use the Film Local code, I think those tickets are probably for the whole weekend. It'll be like around $30. So with the Film Local 50% off code.
Any discounts for group purchases?
If it's like an extremely large group, we'd be interested in that. I mean, 50% off's pretty good discount.
Absolutely.
So, but
Yep.
if somebody wanted to try to maybe get a little bit more, yeah, we might be for a big group.
Were there any schools that previously did field trips to the film festival?
No,
Not yet.
Not
yet.
any high school field trips. I mean, we get lots of
Universities?
students. Yeah, we just get lots of students from Columbia, DePaul, Loyola.
Is there a discount if a student shows his or her ID?
Same 50% discount, yeah, with the ID. Yeah.
Great.
Or using that code online if you want to get an advanced film local code.
Okay. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Brent
thank you for
Kado,
having me.
For Chicago, from the Chicago Comedy Film Festival, describing the film festival for this year. And next year it won't be in November then. It will be in spring.
Yeah, it'll be either in late March or early April. Yeah, we're still locking in the date. Hopefully it'll be at Columbia again. And yeah, we're super excited. But yeah, we'll see you in November 9th through 11th this year.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brent.
Thanks.